jurors to support your argument that this was a crime of passion, it was provocation, that he got involved in this uncontrollable rage. How do you explain that to them?
Well, in this case, I think it's going to be very difficult because the facts suggest that he knew that this person was a man. Now, I'm going to turn everything on its head, and I'm going to pretty much play devil's advocate, but I will say that I think that the defense is using the wrong defense. I think that this is a sick man. I think he did have an uncontrollable urge to kill the person, but if I were defending him, I would have done it a little differently. I would have said that this person knew that this was a man. He's 6 foot tall. He obviously might have had an Adam's apple. If they bring on the other witnesses that saw him accompany at that courthouse when he was defending a traffic ticket, then it's obviously going to go out the window whether, that this was a deception. I do not think he was deceived. I think, as a defense attorney, that the best chance for him would be to admit he is gay or he is attracted to this transgender person. This is not the first time it's happened, and he had an uncontrollable urge to hide this information. He was struggling with his own demons, and the trigger was not the deception, but the trigger was realizing, being brought out, that he in fact slept with this person, and it could have been triggered by feeling the genitals. I don't believe the story that he felt the genitals for the first time the next day or 36 hours later. I believe that he knew it was a man, and there was something that triggered this uncontrollable urge to sort of fight these demons that he had inside of himself, and I think that's the only way. I think the jurors are going to be very savvy. They're not going to believe this one-time provocation. This is not Little Bo Peep. This guy has a criminal record. He's affiliated with gangs. No one is going to believe that he, in fact, was in this house with this transgender person, did not touch the person's genitals until the next day. That's not going to wash.
That's a very interesting take on this argument, the notion of struggling with his own demons, which prompted all of this, Gwen. A very good thought. So, as a former prosecutor, I've heard prosecutors sometimes say that the introduction of a hate crime, although it's laudable in terms of protecting people, but I've heard him say sometimes it could essentially provide a hurdle to a conviction by forcing them to prove that's why the murderer was convicted. Do you see that in this case, or do you think the facts here are such that it won't create any real difficulty for the prosecution?
I think that under the statute, you do have to prove that that's why he was murdered. Now, I think that's going to be sort of a double-edged sword here, because on the one hand, they're arguing that he knew all along that this person was gay, but you know what? He didn't kill him before the next day, and obviously if there's